How to promote music on Instagram and go viral. So Reels is Instagram's answer to the whole of the TikTok platform. The good thing is that it's technically easier to use than TikTok itself, but it also takes up a good percentage of the Instagram real estate, which basically means your other posts will suffer unless you're using new features like IGTV, stories, lives, or mainly Reels, as opposed to just using normal posts that go onto your feed. So what I'm saying is utilize the new features for you to effectively reach your audience and potentially get bigger and new audiences. So welcome one and all, it's Vital and I'm here on behalf of Ditto Music. Let's start this. For this video, we'll be speaking about the following. What is Reels? How to use Reels? Setting your cover or thumbnail effectively? Subtitles or captions? Hashtags on Reels? Repurposing content? And when exactly to post Reels? And with all of that, we'll include a few tips here and there, a little bit of gems and whatnot. So make sure you watch through the entire video so you're able to get all of those insights. So just like usual, if you need to, you can click below for all the timestamps, the chapters, the markers, so you're able to go in and around the video so you can go to any point that you may need. But if not, you know exactly what to do. Sit back, take note, and relax. Alright, cool, just like usual, ain't nothing changed, we're gonna keep it the same. Before you do anything, make sure you subscribe to the Ditto Music channel and make sure you hit like and click that notification bell so you do not miss a single video. Yeah? And don't forget to leave comments below and get involved in the conversation. Join the Ditto community. Anything that you feel like you need more help on, get down in the comments and let us know. If it's general chit chat, then get in the comments. Or if you're just interested in the topic or you want to give me some feedback, get in the comments and let me know. Alright, cool, so let's go. What are Reels? Reels are a video content sharing feature within Instagram that have a similar setup to the way the TikTok platform works. And currently it's Instagram's newest feature, so that would only mean that the algorithm floodgates are way open, so it's best to get active and get on it as soon as possible and try build and create a following, an audience, or a fan base on Reels. Again, with a lot of the same features that TikTok has, you can do anything from captions to effects to adding music to putting your own music to utilizing other people's content and really creating diverse content to share within a space of 15 and now up to about 30 seconds. Reels videos are typically going to be around the 9:16 ratio, which is a portrait vertical kind of shape, things that you would have in stories, in Snap, and again in TikTok. And once Reels are uploaded, they go to their own section on the app, but you can share it to your main feed, you can share it to your stories, and you can share it outside of Instagram in a way to kind of bring people back. How to use Reels? It can be shared like any other post, so do so. And when you finish editing and uploading your actual Reels video, it's always good to select the feature, always share to feed, just to allow yourself to ramp up a bit more interaction and engagement on that post. So like I said, you can share from 15 up to now 30 seconds of a Reels video, which actually means more time to show whatever content you're creating, but also allows the algorithm to actually work against you. If you are not getting people to watch the full 30-second clip, most likely the algorithm will tell Instagram and your audience that that content or the content you're creating isn't that high in quality. So it is actually better to have shorter clips and kind of get to the point as soon as possible. I mean, if you are going to do the 30-second clip, then make sure you get people to the end. And the only way to do that is to ensure that the content is gripping from start till finish. And also within that first 3, maybe even 5 seconds, if you haven't really developed the understanding of what the content is about to your audience, to the people watching your content, then most likely you're going to lose them and they won't get there for the rest of the 10 seconds or maybe 20 seconds after that. Hence, your content will not get the views and the interaction and the engagement that it deserves. And that's just all around the idea of watch time and retention. So if you're going to make content, make sure you can keep people there as long as possible. And when in doubt, make the content shorter and get to the point as quickly as possible. Setting your cover and thumbnail effectively. Using Reels can be more beneficial the more you understand that every step of the process before you actually post a Reels video. Instagram gives you options and different things you can select. If you can utilize those, and I mean the idea of always share to feed selection, and in this case more about utilizing your cover. Choosing the perfect cover, which is basically going to be a still from the Reels video you've created, is very, very important. And if you have the time and if you feel like the still images on your video might not be enticing enough, then when you are creating that Reels, you would have to kind of bear that in mind. Potentially you make your video, your Reels video off app, and you do an extra edit and you put a still image in there that will be the cover. And it's just almost like thinking forward in the space of creating content that people will want to click on, stay on, and actually watch. So just think wisely. It's not really about making it clickbaity, because at the end of the day, whatever you're showing is going to be what's in the content, but if it's not showing the best version of what that is in the cover, then it's hard for people to click on that content and then watch the next 15 to 30 seconds. And another tip is to just make sure that obviously on your feed you will see your normal everyday posts, whether that's images and videos. You might see longer content like IGTVs. You might see footage from your live that you've saved on to your post as an IGTV, but you will also see Reels. It's kind of important, if you believe in the branding of what you're doing, to make sure everything is relatively consistent, whether that be a theme of always having your face, whether that be a theme or a branding technique of colors and imagery. And if you can keep that consistently and people like one of your pieces of content, they will definitely go to another. Subtitles and captions. It's so important to utilize the subtitles, the text, the captions in the same way that TikTok do, simply because it's a proven outcome that works on TikTok, because TikTok and Reels are one and the same in a sense. So carrying those energies from TikTok, especially if you are an avid TikTok user, it would make perfect sense to do similar things on Reels. And I mean, creating a caption or a piece of text is so important for simple things like this. The way TikTok works is audio is always playing unless you decide differently. With Instagram, you have the option natively in the whole app for all the content that you can put on Instagram to pause content. So if you tap any of the videos, no audio will play on the whole of the app natively, aka if you go into Reels and it's still paused, you won't hear anything. So utilizing the captions in this area, in this space, is more important than ever. In those captions, you may have something like turn on sound now. You may have a sticker saying turn on sound now or listen now, just to get people more enticed into that content, because then they have obviously the option to just mute it after the content. They might be missing the best part of the content, which might happen in the first 5 seconds. Maybe people only want to listen to it with no audio, and maybe the joke that you're creating in this video or the comedic banter or the information you're trying to deliver will work just as good if people can read it instead of listening to it. Hashtags on Reels. This is so important simply because natively, again, in the Instagram app, there was a point where all kind of post videos, the typical ones, utilizing hashtags will be amazing to get you on the explore page. And not to say that that still doesn't work, but again, the forefront of Instagram currently is Reels. It's focusing mainly on the fact of they are pushing this feature, aka that hashtags will be more beneficial on the newer feature. They will get you on the explore page. You will see similar kind of videos of a boomerang effect, which might be more enticing for people to click. So if you are utilizing your hashtags effectively, then 100% you will get more engagement, more interaction, and potentially more followers. So with Reels and hashtags together, you can start building a sense of community, whether it's you creating certain custom hashtags that you want people to follow, or you just falling into the realm of hashtags that are already working in different areas, whether it's like hashtags that have a community of thousands or maybe millions of people, to hopefully bring some of your content into that space and get the people that follow those hashtags to see the content that you're creating. And if you're having issues with working out what type of hashtags to use or that are actually out there trending, you can use something called an online hashtag generator. And I've spoke about this in a video previously, and I mean it works on all platforms, and something you can do yourself as well is actually go search these hashtags and see what content comes up, see if your content fits that space or within that realm, and hopefully if it's engaged enough, it'll go to the top of those rankings of the hashtags. And especially if you use it frequently enough, it'll always be present near the top. And with the online hashtag generator, it's literally all about you choosing different tiers of hashtags, whether it be hashtags that are using the millions, using the thousands, or using the hundreds, and mixing them up a little bit. You might get a little bit of traffic from the smaller hashtags, and you might get some from the bigger, but regardless, you'll get some traffic in some way, shape, or form. It's the hashtags themselves that actually help and aid in you becoming viral with the content that you're creating. So it's so important to utilize them. And another cool thing you can do is potentially upload your content to Reels and put the hashtag groups within the comments after you post, so it doesn't look so messy and it doesn't look so overwhelming, and it's still gonna look clean and something that people would like and potentially get involved with. Repurposing content. You may have a few 15-second clips laying around that you've actually already used on TikTok. Perhaps you have a lot of stories that you've made around 10 seconds long that got loads of feedback, whether it's on Snapchat itself or Instagram stories. It's really good to utilize and find that content and repurpose it. make it into a really cool reel. Add the stickers, the text, the captions, add some music to these stories, to these old TikToks, to these old short videos, and see if you can repurpose this content to be an effective reel that might bring a lot of traffic with the hashtags to your Instagram account, and see what happens. The only thing to really do is to make sure it fits the style and consistency of what you have already created on your Instagram or within your Reels area. And in addition to the stickers and the captions and adding music, it's good to potentially add your music, add a friend's music who's actually doing very well. And you know they might share it if their music's on there, because all that will do, again, is bring more traction to your Instagram, to your account, to your Reels. So once you've created all of those amazing and repurposed pieces of content, bear in mind this might be content from your TikTok, like I said, or your stories, but now it's on Reels. So now it's dressed up, it's a little bit different. Reshare it back to your story. Reshare it to other places and other platforms, and just see how that Reels video content actually works and plays out outside of the app as well. And realistically, just repeat that method anytime you come across some really great content. And nothing's wrong with taking other people's content, but definitely credit them as and where you can. Here's a little side tip, something a little bit away from Instagram Reels, but still can work in the same space. There's a new feature on Spotify and it's called Canvas. And let's say some of those Reels that you are utilizing, or those stories in its rawest form, look really good, especially if it's clips taken from your music videos or performance videos or live shows, or even just live videos of you performing on Instagram Live itself. Those pieces of content, if they relate or link to any of your music that's on Spotify, there's a new area within Spotify called Canvas that you can utilize, where you will upload around 7 seconds of a clip, and it has to be a vertical portrait at 720 pixels. You can upload it there, and it almost takes the form of an Instagram's boomerang, which basically means when people go listen to your music on Spotify, they now have a visualizer, a sort of clip of a music video to kind of link the music to, which might make the big difference between them listening to the music for 10 to 15 to 30 seconds or them taking it in for the entire 2 to 3 minutes. So definitely have a look at Canvas and see how it can help benefit you in the work that you're doing. And just keeping in the realm of Spotify, there's also other techniques that you can utilize around the idea when you're promoting music or videos utilizing Reels, is to make sure when that song or that track is coming out, you definitely pitch your music to Spotify for artists. So like I said, here's some videos on how to make that happen. So don't forget Canvas and don't forget Spotify for artists when you are promoting a single, especially using things like Reels, Live, IGTV, and Stories. And last but definitely not least, when to post Reels. So when is the best time to post a Reels video in this new world where algorithms are taking over the majority of what we do and apps are having apps inside of apps? It gets a bit, you know what I mean? It all depends on your audience. It depends on your personal schedule, and you have to work out and understand the difference between both. If you work a 9 to 5, but you do music heavily on the weekends and the evenings, then that's the time you have to post. So one thing I would say always is, no matter what your schedule is and your audience is, keep that energy consistent. If you post once a week, then post once a week. If you're able to post 3 or 4 or 5 times a week, then try keep that up, and maybe switch it up. Maybe the Monday post is text, the Tuesday post is a clip of a song, Wednesday post is more of doing a live video just to interact with some people and see what the energy is. And maybe the Thursday and the Friday post, or maybe the Saturday and the Sunday posts, are all about music, just straight music. Because at the end of the day, you're an artist who's trying to build a community. The only way to build a community is to have interaction, conversation, and keeping things very social, especially in the times that we're living in right now. The internet is the only way we can effectively be sociable. So utilize that, schedule it, keep it consistent. Do not burn yourself out, because at the end of the day, nobody wants terrible quality. They want good quality, and they would prefer to get infrequent quality than constant quality that's very low. And like I said, it's all about trial and error. So when it comes to posting and what times, what days, and how much to post, trial and error. Give it a go, see how it works. Look back at your results, see the interactions, see where or on which day or what time it got the most interactions. And do not forget, although Reels doesn't give you direct insights, especially if you have a smaller account, you still have insights from your posts and your previous posts to your feed. So check those insights and try and work out a schedule from the times people are mainly active on your socials, the times, the days, and what day works for you, and how consistently you feel you can keep up a post campaign and see if my engagement grows. And obviously it's all about content, so regardless of whatever you're doing, the content has to be good. If you can do that for yourself and trial and test that idea, it's just going to be beneficial for you in the future. At the end of the day, your audience are there. It's about building and trying your best to give them good content and allow them to be a part of your journey. So yes, people, we've reached the end, and I'm really hoping that you guys enjoyed that. But you know exactly what you can do. You can go in the comments if you found anything interesting, if you've got a few more tips yourself that you feel I should have added, or if you want to just be a part of the Ditto community and have some general chit chat, you can get down below in the comments and get onto that. Just a little recap of what we spoke about. So we asked, what are Reels? How to use Reels, setting your cover or your thumbnail effectively, subtitles and captions for your Reels videos, hashtags on Reels, repurposing content, when exactly to post Reels with a few little gems and side tips and things like that. So from me, Vital, and the Ditto music team, more love and respect. Make sure you like, subscribe, and all of that good stuff. Get down in the comments, hit that notification bell, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. More love and have a great year. Peace.